We're going to have an end time. I know that Brother Treadwell's coming next week. I'm looking forward to it. But have y'all noticed the grain spirit this week? You know, each week I've been looking around at the different horsemen just galloping across the world. It's been the red spirit, a lot of the red spirit. But this past couple of weeks, it's really been the grain spirit. So we're going to kind of focus in on that. When we look at Luke 21, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And right now, it is like a powder keg. What is Israel going to do in response? What would you do if you were the president of Israel right now? And someone had just launched over 200 missiles and drones into your country in the dead of night. And if they didn't have those defensive weapons to protect themselves, those would have hit right into the middle of their towns. Yes. But we know they have someone much greater than that watching over them. Right. Amen? Yes. But everyone is watching to wonder what they're going to do next. Great earthquakes shall be in divers places. Did you know they had an earthquake in the northeast in Lebanon, New Jersey? They have not had an earthquake there since the 1800s. And I'll show you a picture of that coming up. Pestilences, famines, fearful sights, and great signs there shall be from heaven. And could we have had any greater, more beautiful display of God's magnificence and control than what we saw this last week? If you didn't step outside and take a look at that amazing ring of fire, you missed it, because it was a thing to behold. So all of these are signs of the ends. I believe God is sounding a trumpet right now, and he is saying, just look around at the world and you can see. It's like the leaves coming out on a tree. You know that summer is nigh at hand. It's time to look up, lift up our eyes. We know that our redemption is drawing nigh. So when we saw the rebirth of Israel, we knew that all of these nations that were around would fight like demons to try to fight against Israel. And you are just seeing that in the world today. So I use this illustration a lot because it's really an example of what's going on in the world in the last days. The four spirits that are in the earth. And this is in Zechariah 6:4. The angel said, there are four spirits. They're going to go out in the earth in the last days. And then, of course, you see the same four spirits, the four horsemen, in Revelations 6. It's when the seals are opened. The first four seals happen to be four horsemen, just like Zechariah described. And we look at the first seals. We see the white horse, the red spirit, and I talk a lot about the red spirit, how America right now is giving a great sword unto the red spirit. With our policies and the way that we are acting, we're actually giving a great sword. I saw, and I'll show you up ahead a little bit, the price of oil is spiking right now. You know, the price of oil wouldn't spike if there was just like a flood of oil. It's supply and demand. That's one of the basic, they teach you that in Marketing 101. That's just one of the basic things that everyone understands. Supply. And if there's a huge supply, it doesn't matter that there's a great demand, because there's a huge supply. But if there's a little bit shrinking supply and there's a giant demand, what happens to the little limited supply? The price of it does what? And every time the price of oil goes up, Who benefits? Mr. Putin. And what does he do with all of that money that comes into his pockets? Buys weapons to kill people. That's what he does. He's the red spirit. It says there will be a great sword given unto him, and he will kill. It's right there in your Bible, folks. He wants to take peace from the earth. A great sword is given unto him, and they have been that way forever. That's the communist spirit. And I'm just waiting for Taiwan. Mark it down. Any time now. Taiwan is coming next. That's the next shoe to drop. That's the red spirit. But let's go ahead a little bit here, talking about the horseman. And we're going to look at the pale horse. His name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. Power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, with hunger, with death, and with the beasts of the earth. So I want you to notice that word, behold, a pale horse. So let's zoom in. Did my slide come to? Okay, here it is. This is the slide I want to get to first before I look at that other part. The pale horse. I pulled it up in the Greek for you, and you can see look at the word pale, and you'll see in the Greek it's 55:15 in your Strong's. Everybody see that? So if you're going to go into your Strong's Concordance and look at the word pale, there's the word, chloros. That word is used in our Bible 4 times. 3 times it's translated green. Okay, and I'm going to show you in fact, it's a word that we still use today in science. It's chlorophyll, which is the element in plants that takes sunlight and converts it into energy, chlorophyll. Okay, so it's the green in plants. But here you see where the word is translated green. In Mark 6:39, and it makes sense. He commanded them all to sit down by companies in the green grass. That is the same exact Greek word, green. Revelations 8:7, it says, a third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass, that's when the trumpets, and all of the green grass was burnt up. And then he goes on, the other part it says, do not hurt any of the grass, neither any green thing. So you can see the word can be translated green. And to this day, like I said, we still use that same word, chloros, to mean green. So, talking about Iran. Iran in your Bible is Persia. When you look at right here, this big Magog, that is Iran right there. You can see this whole side over here, Persia. There you see Iran, Iraq, Syria, and there's Israel. This Iran is going to become a part of a much larger alignment of nations in the end time events. How do we know that? Because you can see in Ezekiel 38, it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and all of them, they're going to come together. And it talks about the north quarters and all of his bands and many people. If you look north of Israel, what do you have? So if you have Israel here, and then you go to the north of that, you're going to run right up into red. They have it red on this chart too. So who is Iran's big friend right now? Russia. In fact, Russia is using a lot of the drones that Iran is building for them. They're giving Iran money. They're giving Iran money because they have all kinds of money right now. Since they're selling their oil and they have all kinds of money, they're buying drones and technology from Iran. Iran, they're actually very creative people. Since we gave them a drone that took us years to develop, a spy drone, we let it land in the middle of their country and just sat there. We didn't try to destroy it. We just let them capture it, and then they copied it. And so now they're like one of the leading nations in the world in drone development. And drones right now are one of the major weapons in the new battlefield. And so they're selling drones to Russia, and Russia is aligning itself with Iran. And so here you can see, they tell you in Ezekiel 38, where they're all going to come against Israel. They're all going to be clothed with all sorts of armor, and it lists all the different people: Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and in fact, the Houthis are in Yemen, and that's in the southern part of the continent there that they're on. And then you have Saudi Arabia, even now, is lining up with Iran. You would think that Saudi Arabia, yes, that is actually a picture right there. There is China, and they're lining up with Iran and Saudi Arabia. China is the power broker coming in and joining Saudi Arabia and Iran together. Because China is wanting to get into all of these different markets. And they're turning into this giant global superpower. And so they're getting Saudi Arabia and Iran to come together. And here you can see Iran together with Russia. And that's our NATO ally, Turkey, joining hands with Iran. By the way, Turkey can't stand Israel, just so y'all know. They do not like Israel at all. But Turkey is a part of NATO. So we will come to Turkey's aid. According to NATO treaty, if Israel attacks Turkey. But Persia in your Bible, you can trace it all the way back to ancient times. Remember the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar, captured Jerusalem, and they brought Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego back into Babylon. And then eventually the Medes and the Persians overthrew Babylon, right? And then the Medes and the Persians were overthrown by Alexander the Great. And so all the way back from that time, these big rocks here seen in that picture, if you get up close to them and look at them, that rock, the rock of Behistum, many travelers go there because carved on the side of those rocks is the Persian king Darius. And he proclaims his military victories from the time of when they overtook Babylon and they fought against Alexander. Of course, they lost those battles against Alexander. But Persian is an ancient empire, but they have never been the friends. They are not the friends of the Jews.
The Iranian attack is ongoing. Our planes are in the air. Tonight, wide-scale attack by Iran is a major escalation. The Iranian attack.
This right here was a citizen was standing outside their house, I guess, with their iPhone filming it. I know they tell you that none of these missiles got through, they knocked them all down and all this, but you can actually see some of the missiles impacting right here.
What's good? What's good? What did I? muscular.
That'd be pretty scary to be in your house, just wondering which one's going to hit your house. And it looks like they're just in a neighborhood, and you can just see these missiles. On the first clip, you could hear the jets up there trying to stop the missiles from coming in. This is a video that is taken from Tehran. These are the Iranian people that are celebrating as the missiles are hitting into Israel.
ما با این حرکت تونستیم کمی از اون انتقام سختی که می‌خواستیم بگیریم و بگیریم. امیدواریم که این حمله ادامه پیدا کنه تا اینکه اسرائیل کاملا نابود بشه.
You see any green in there? You notice at the top of their tower there's green. All of their flags have green in it. It is the green spirit. It controls 1/4 of the earth. These are some pictures of what the drones look like. Those are some of the rockets that they fire. This is the factory where they produce them. That was not a very happy day for America right there. I want to say this is 2011 when they captured our drone and they put it on display for the world to see. They're showing it off to everyone. Then this came out. Iran claims that it was able to replicate, which means they were able to take it apart, figure out how we built it, and then they made their own copy of it. Iran claimed on Sunday that it has succeeded in copying the U.S. drone that it captured in December 2011 on state television, broadcasting images showing the replicated aircraft. It captured the drone on 2011 while it was in its airspace, apparently on a spying mission of the country's nuclear sites. Our engineers succeeded in breaking the drone's secrets and copying them. It will soon be on a test flight, they told the news media. This drone is very important for reconnaissance missions, Khomeini said as he stood in front of the Iranian copy of the American unmanned aircraft. Iran said it took control of the aircraft and forced it down in the desert and recovered it nearly intact. Washington said it lost control of the aircraft. At the time, the U.S. American officials tried to downplay the incident of spying on Iran, and they said that Iran did not have the technology to decipher the secrets, and President Barack Obama asked the Islamic Republic to return the drone. Yeah, you see how that worked out for us. We asked them to return it. And so they worked on developing it, and then this happened. They sent us a picture of our aircraft carrier after they flew over our aircraft carrier and took pictures of our guys working on planes on our aircraft carrier, and we didn't even know the drone was there. Because it's a spy drone, it's stealth. Here's the story from the New York Post, and there's the picture of our carrier. They were able to get close enough to take those pictures of our carrier without our carrier being aware they were there. Those are F-18 planes. That's obviously a United States aircraft carrier. So now American lives, somebody's sons, husbands are out there working on planes because we failed to take that drone out. Not only have we allowed them to copy it, now they have a stealth drone and they're able to fly close enough to our aircraft carrier to take these pictures and watch us while we're working on our planes. That picture I found last week, that is an exact copy of our drone. However, That's Russian. They gave it to Russia. So now Russia is using it to bomb Ukrainian people. And they're able to fly over Ukraine. Ukraine can't even see it. And it's flying over Ukrainian cities and dropping bombs on people in Ukraine. Speaker Johnson of the House accuses the Biden administration of contributing to the attack, Iran's attack on Israel. And this is what he said. He said, the Biden administration is undermining Israel and has appeased Israel and is contributing to these attacks. Mr. Johnson's comments follow President Biden's, have made clear earlier this week that he has called Mr. Netanyahu's handling of the war a mistake, and he urged the leader of the Jewish state to flood Gaza with aid. So they had all the terrorists surrounded and boxed into a corner. The Biden administration said, we're not going to give you any more weapons. We're not going to support you anymore unless you back off. Let them go. Leave them alone. And so they pulled back. And the next thing you know, they get attacked by Iran. Am I making it up, folks? Or did y'all see that happen on the news? They pulled back, and they immediately got attacked by Iran. They are still building nuclear bombs. Any of those drones could have been carrying a nuclear bomb. And they say that Iran sent messages to our government warning America not to get involved. It's not like they're scared of us or anything, right? Now, this green spirit. Why am I so concerned about the green spirit? Because, folks, it's here. This is St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York, the largest, well, I won't say the largest, but one of the most well-known Catholic churches in the United States of America. Anytime they're going to have a big event or whatever, this is where they have it, in this cathedral. So if they wanted to make a statement on behalf of free, free, free Palestine, right, where are they going to do it? They wait till Easter Sunday. You're going to actually see on this video, at one point, the priest comes forward and is trying to stop the guy, and you're going to see the guy actually physically assault the priest and push him. From the side, you're going to finally see a uniformed officer come in and grab one of them. And then I guess there's an off-duty officer in the crowd because he jumps up and stacks one of them. I'm like, yes! But anyways, yeah, we're done with this. All right, here we go. So the priest tries to intervene. You're going to see him get shoved off to the side. How disrespectful. Can you imagine? In the middle of a Catholic church on Easter Sunday to bring your Palestine, free Palestine message. Death to America. That's the chant. We're giving them billions of dollars, handing it to Iran while they're saying this to us. Right?
Well, that video is from Iran last week. Protesters in Tehran chanting "Death to America." And now we're seeing that chilling anti-American sentiment here at home in America. Pro-Palestinian demonstrators chanting "Death to America, Death to Israel" at a rally, not in Tehran, but in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan to be exact. A city that the Wall Street Journal has already branded as the jihad capital of the U.S. A protester there attacking America for supporting Israel and then quoting Malcolm X, saying that the U.S. is, quote, one of the rottenest countries that has ever existed on this earth. I mean, it's chilling to think about, Kennedy, and from some perspective on Dearborn.
Here's the actual clip from it. This is not Tehran. This is Dearborn, Michigan, exercising their free speech in our country.
Malcolm X said, and I quote, "We live in one of the rottenest countries that has ever existed on this earth." It's not Genocide Joe that has to go. It's the entire system that has to go. Any system that would allow such atrocities and such devilry to happen and would support it, such a system does not deserve to exist on God's earth.
All right. So let's be real. They sneak across the border. They need a place to hold up for a while until they carry out their attack. They need friendly people to hide them out until they get ready. They're a sleeper cell. Where do you think they're going to go? I'd head straight to Dearborn, Michigan if it was me. Do you think there may be a sleeper cell or two right now? But don't worry. We have the FBI. If we can break a few of them loose, but right now they're kind of busy checking out parents who are calling in to complain about school board meetings. I wish I was making that up, folks. They've got a lot of agents that are tied down on Catholic churches. Y'all remember that? I played the clip for you. They had the FBI director. They were investigating Catholic churches. Do you think any of them are in Dearborn, Michigan? Hello, Christopher Wray. That's exactly where I'd put a few FBI agents. This was in the Wall Street Journal in their opinion piece. Welcome to Dearborn, America's jihad capital. At least somebody's calling it out. You know, usually our media won't say it, but actually somebody's actually calling it out. We have a dangerous situation here. We have a major city in the United States of America that is supporting jihad in America, the destruction of America. In fact, it says here, almost immediately after October 7th, and long before Israel began its ground offensive in Gaza, people were celebrating the horrific events of that day in pro-Hamas rallies and marches throughout Dearborn. A local headline describing an October event at the Ford Performing Arts Center read, "Michigan rally cheers the Hamas attack. Come celebrate with us at the Ford Theater as we cheer the Hamas attack." Right here in the United States of America, folks, the green spirit is on the march. And what are we doing? Our border is standing wide open. The alarm bells are going ding, 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 ding. They caught a guy coming across the border. It says, "I'm from Lebanon, and I'm on my way to New York to do a bomb." Right then I would have said, "Hey, warning, we probably need to close the border." Not a word said. They're pouring through. Hey, you can be pro-immigration and want people to come into your country and pro-security at the same time. I am just for a vetting process. Please tell me who you are, where you're from. Let me run a background check and make sure you don't want to hurt me. That's reasonable. I don't know where these people are coming from, who they are, what they're intending, right? Michigan protesters chant death to America. That's just horrific, folks, right here in our country. This representative, Rashida Tlaib, is a Palestinian, and they confronted her in the hallway, and they said, the people in your district were saying death to America. Will you condemn that? She refused to comment and condemn it. This was, I just have to play this for you and you can just make up your own mind. This is where this leads when you let this go on in your country.
Investigators say pledged his allegiance to ISIS is now under arrest. They say he was on the verge of carrying out a massive terror attack. The FBI says Alex Mercurio was planning several assaults on multiple churches in and around his hometown. His alleged plot started with an assault on his own family. ABC's Im Nguyen live this afternoon in Washington with the latest on his takedown. Im?
Yes, Sandra, the FBI says the arrested teen began to have an affinity towards ISIS in 2022. Investigators say that his alleged plan was to kill as many people in one of his hometown churches, burn it down, and then repeat the rampage at other churches until he was killed. The FBI announcing an 18-year-old from Idaho arrested just hours before his alleged planned terror attack on multiple churches in his hometown of Coeur d'Alene. Alexander Mercurio seen here, knife in hand, expressing his allegiance to ISIS, according to the Justice Department's criminal complaint.
There's been a steady stream of people attempting to promote ISIS, to be involved in potential attacks. And this, I think, is another example of self-radicalization, where you have an 18
that killed 13 Americans. ISIS from Afghanistan, with little or no warning, could attack Western interests across Asia and Europe, and that's exactly what we've seen happen. The next attacks could be against an American embassy in Asia or in Europe, or against, say, students traveling to Europe on a school trip for spring break. I'm deeply worried that ISIS from Afghanistan will end up targeting Americans sooner rather than later.
Victoria Coates is the Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security and Foreign Policy, and she joins me now. Victoria, great to see you as always. Do you share that same worry as Tom Cotton? And if so, how responsible is Biden foreign policy for sowing the seeds of this ISIS resurgence?
Good to be with you. Unfortunately, I think Senator Cotton is spot on. We're very much getting the sense that ISIS is back. And if you remember, when President Trump was in office, one of the first things he did was go to the tank at the Pentagon and challenge the military to destroy ISIS. He wanted to completely decimate the caliphate, which he did, and ISIS was relegated to being a secondary or tertiary threat during his term. Unfortunately, now they seem to be back in spades. We have the French going on their highest alert overnight, and I think, obviously we need to be very concerned about the safety of Americans abroad.
Let's revisit this chilling warning from the commander of U.S. Central Command earlier this month.
The risk of attack emanating from Afghanistan is increasing. I assess ISIS Khorasan retains the capability and will to attack U.S. and Western interests abroad in as little as 6 months and with little to no warning.
Implying a surprise attack there. What can the Biden administration do now to prevent such an ISIS surprise attack from hitting American interests, or worse, let's call it what it is, worse, hitting the homeland?
Right, and that's the other major concern is, ISIS, obviously, they've hit Iran, they've hit Russia. They don't really differentiate between them and between us, the United States. And the problem is that over the course of the last 3 years, since the fall of Afghanistan, they could be trying to come across our southern border. We don't know what's here in the homeland.